Da 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 da, moon unit in the house / car. Oh my god, it's so weird. Sometimes I'm not used to being like so blonde. I mean, I have been for a long time now, a while, but like there's like 27 years, 20, 29, 30 years of my life where never once could you have ever thought that I'd be blonde anything. Minus some fucking chunky highlights I had back in the day. But like I've heard people like, oh, you remind me of this girl, but you know, like, but she's got blonde, but you got blonde hair, you know. Or that's what, I'm like, what? Or like, oh yeah, that girl with the blonde hair over there, and I'm like, oh yeah, me, ha ha. Oops, I don't really consider myself a blonde because I mean it's all weave. Duh. Here's my hair. So I feel the need to make like a bunch of videos lately. Timing's everything. So with my birthday has come and gone in the last week. I'm 35 now, slaying all day. And if you've been in my life in the last 15 years, you know that I fucking have hated my birthday. I have like 2 times a year where it is just not a good time to be around me, or just it's just one of those, you know, those dates. And my birthday, it had nothing to do with my birthday. It had everything to do with my guardian, spirit guide, angel, Marine guardian, Nicholas D. Larson. He was killed 2 days after my 20th birthday. So my birthday is November 7th. He died the 9th. The 10th is the Marine Corps birthday, and 11th being Veterans Day. It's just like fucking, like I could, like back before, I've just, the point of my story is I've full circled last birthday, but my last birthday was the worst of all of the birthdays I've ever endured since it happened in 2004. I mean, like, I just literally, like, a week prior to my birthday, I would feel it coming, and then week of my birthday, there's a build up of just emotions and tears and confusion. Like, why the actual fuck can I not let go? I've lost family and other friends, and the way Nick's death just stuck with me. I drove myself fucking insane for like 15 fucking years trying to understand it, because I grew up with him since like 6th, 7th grade, and until like the end of my senior, like end of like junior and senior year, we were both thrown in these like BD classes together, and we just had this insane connect. We both had significant others, you know what I mean? Like, we just couldn't. We had, like, he would wait for me every day after gym class. We had weightlifting class together, and it was funny because me and Mr. Foster, and Mr. Foster found me like a few years ago, Memorial Day being the other bad weekend or time of my year. Memorial Day is where it all started, really, with my spiritual awakening. Memorial Day was when I was waking up. Duh, go figure. And but I always have taken Chloe since she was 2 every year to go visit her Uncle Nick, so she understands, blah, 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 you know. And I always have an insane, weird, strange encounter every Memorial Day. Good, beautiful, but then, like, later on in the weekend, something crazy will happen bad to me. Like, I get tossed across the Galway's parking lot 10 feet into the air. Like, I'm sturdy, you know? Like, shit like that. Like, something spiritually beautiful for me to know. He's there, they're there, and then all of a sudden, boom, like, the opposite. That was a constant for years. Every Memorial Day, it was, like, bracing for impact. And one Memorial Day, our gym teacher that we had together, you know, he found me and was like, oh my god, I'm so happy to see you here. I was hoping you'd be here. My parents live around here, and they always tell me of this girl that goes and visits her fallen Marine, and I knew it was you because I remembered how special your connection with Nick was. And I'm like, what the fuck, Mr. Foster? I haven't seen him since 2003 when we graduated. Like, it was beautiful for him to seek me out there and tell me this. I was like, thank you. Like, I have been gifted information from my Nick's friends, other people, his family, you know, readings, past life shit. But, like, that was one of the main ones where I was like, what? Wow, okay. thank you. But, you know, it still didn't explain, like, what about him just stuck with me. And, like, you know, I literally watched documentaries. I reread the book his unit is in 3 separate times. Hardest thing ever. And, you know, through that, I found some of his brothers that served with him in the book, finding them on Facebook, and we check in on each other every bad weekend, you know, bad time, because we both had the same bad things. And it's nice to talk to somebody that was there with Nick, and him vice versa to me. It's just it was a nice comfort. The way he died, it's like the storming of Normandy of the Iraq War, where he died, you know. Not taking away from any other ultimate sacrifice or any other lives lost in the wars, not at all. Just saying, in the Iraq War, in the beginning of it too, you know, when you're saying goodbye to your friends, you didn't know for a second, you didn't think that they weren't not going to come back, because that was like, it was a foreign concept. Later on, throughout the years, yeah, you always make sure you say goodbye to whoever's going. A big goodbye, you know? But at the time, it was not a thing yet. And he died the second day of the second Battle of Fallujah, the start on my birthday, November 7th. And in like a 6-week time, I think it is, shortest amount of time, they lost the largest amount of young Marines. There'll be fucking movies written about Nick and his unit, you know? There's an actual book. I walked into goddamn fucking Barnes & Noble and bought it. You know, like, that's why I want Chloe to know her Uncle Nick's story, that it's something to be proud of, that it's, you know, he was 19 years old, and I know if he was gonna die not in old age, that would be the way he would want to go out. The blaze of glory. And you know, he wanted to be a Marine or a Navy SEAL his whole life. Like, he trained for that, and even in high school, like when 9/11 happened, when we were juniors, he was already like set up to fucking go. By the time fucking we graduated, he was off. So, but like I said, that was all forward concepts I had read about wars in books, not through just experiencing one. And so over the years, you know, I lived at the cemeteries. I dug deep and faced emotions and thoughts, and like, it's like I've always had a knowing and a known, like, hey, I think maybe I was just supposed to be with him, and it never manifested into what it was supposed to be. It's like, maybe before this life started, we made this contract, like, I'm supposed to be this weird epic existence in this world, apparently, from what I've been told. And now I know. Now I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck that is I'm supposed to do. But he is the prime reason of my epicness. You know, I found myself through losing Nick, and I'd rather have him here and be normal. I wouldn't have been normal. Who am I kidding? But the process was needed to be the way it was, and you know, I knew deep in my heart that we loved each other. It was unconditional love that we couldn't even understand, because we banter. Like, I banter with him even where he is now. It's the same. Like, if you hear me by myself, I'm like, hey, asshole, you know, like, who are you talking to? Oh, my dead friend, you know, like they're the same in the afterlife realm that they are here. So, you know, we were always like yelling at each other, giving each other shit, but he was pushing me to be the best version of me. You know, he would yell at me, "You're so loud, Sherry, shut the fuck up." And I'd be like, "Well, you're a dick, Nick, you know, go fuck you." You know, but then he was the sweetest kid I ever knew, too. He waited for me every day after gym class. That's how I like to remember him. And I come out with those smelly gym doors, and there's Nick standing there with his backpack and his black sweatshirt, with a smile on his face, waiting for me every day. We'd walk arm in arm to the next class, BD class together. And that's how I like to remember him. I don't have a picture of me and him. I hung out with his group of friends. I was friends with his friends, but I was friends with everybody. You know, I was a party girl. I was a little wild child, but I was still very close with his little grouping of boys, and I love them all still to this day. And he was a big impact in my life. even the last year of high school, I knew it. I couldn't explain it. We couldn't have known what it was. So that's why I always say traveling soldier. That's our fucking story. I know he would be like, you're a pussy for putting on Dixie Chick Sherry. I'll put on Cemetery Gates or something, Pantera. But that's why he always shuts off my phone in the cemetery when I still have 40% at battery. I put that song on, my phone's dead. Get back in my car, it's fine. But he's done that. I've had some beautiful, beautiful experiences through my awakening process, and other people going through it too, and through weird possessions and growth and craziness. I've learned a lot and been gifted information and conversations and embraces and understandings of everything. But how I really figured it out was on my birthday last year. I tried to go see Linda, my intuitive mentor. She's like me in like 20-30 years, and she's like, you're epic even in our spiritual realm. I want you to work with me. So that's what I really want to do. I want to utilize my magical abilities and help and get readings, and I'm just trying to harness it all down, figure out exactly what. I was gifted this magical crystal ball, and I did something with it beautifully, and it worked. And it's like, I stopped doubting myself a long time ago, especially when elders like me are telling me, like, well, we're going to be teaching me some shit. You're here for some epic reasons. Figure it out. We're here to help you. But I only go and see her every so often because I have her phone number, but like, I still need to pay for her services. That's how she lives. I get it. And she's out of Quest Bookshop. She's epic. But she gifted me this information because I was very close with my Hawk. You know, we all love and miss Hawk, and he was like my alpha equal in this world. And we found each other. His shaman even wrote it out. You're gonna have like a sister, alpha sister type, find you in this world, Sarah, or something really close to Sherry, but like this much off. And I read it and I was like, oh my god, like he knew I was coming. And we've been brothers and sisters in so many past lives together. His ancestor Hawk was always with him. So whenever we were together, I felt Nick being extra peacocky and protective, and his dude was kind of had a darkness to him. I didn't like his presence at first, and then I got used to it and understood that it's just his ancestor protecting him. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, they fought for the same land and died on this, you know, for the same shit. Opposite ends. We made them shake it out. I mean, me and Hawk witnessed things we couldn't even put in words. We were looking at each other after an adventure through the cemetery, or even just to the fucking park, over our favorite park, and sit on the bridge over the creek and smoke a bowl at the end of the night. Didn't matter where we were, they were everywhere. And like how the fuck do we not have like a fucking show? Demon fighters. Like, I couldn't even put into words what me and this kid have experienced. And we also have beautifully experienced beautiful things, not just scary. A lot of scary, well worth it for the beauty. And like, you know, Nick can hand me my phone charger. He's a flirt. He flirts with any girl that's aware and awakened enough to know he's there in my car. And I pointed out, and they're like, oh my god, he's flirting. You know, he's a little, that's Nick. And then Froggy, I lost Froggy, my best friend, that was murdered 2 years ago. And they synced up immediately. And Kyle, that picture, my favorite picture of me visiting Nick, you could see Nick next to me. Like, Hawk took that picture of me at the cemetery because right when Kyle was passing and he was in hospice, I was walking through the Galway's parking lot, and it's like I felt Kyle like walking next to me, and he was in hospice that week. And I go, Hawk, I go, we gotta go visit Nick ASAP. He's like, what? I go, fucking sap. Let's go now. I need Nick to be there for Kyle. Like, I don't know who Kyle has on the other side, but I know our Kyle he needs a friend there. He's going way too quick and early. He knows of Nick. I just want to make sure that he'll be there for him when he goes. So it's like 4 a.m, leaving Galway's, beeline to the cemetery, sitting with him, ask him to be there. Hawk takes this picture, and I remember like trying to situate and be like, it was all uncomfortable, and I finally just get comfy. And I leaned in, and he took a picture, and I see it's like this dark, beautiful shadow figure with his arm around me, hugging me, and it was Nick. So the look on his face when he sees the picture, and I'm like, what, is it bad? And he's like, let's go. Like I'm like, oh my God, look at it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, God, all right, answer. We came here, got what we looking for. Let's go home. And it's almost like a euphoric feeling. And then I went early, like later on that day, because it was 4 a.m. I was putting Chloe to sleep, and I asked her to say a prayer for my friend Kyle with me, and she was like, well, okay, well, why? And I'm like, well, he's gonna be an angel soon. And she kind of looked at me confused because she was like 5. She was like, what do you mean soon? And I'm like, well, he's sick and he's gonna be an angel soon, so we just need to let him, just want to say a prayer for him. And she goes, okay. And I close my eyes and I say out loud in my head, Nick, if you're around, just tell him to go. There's no coming back. There's no end. I mean, there's no other way. It's okay to go, please. So tell him just to go, because the day by day waiting for that call was torture. And I'm like, just tell him it's fine, he can go. I took Chloe in, checked my phone. Sure as fuck, I get a text message from my friend that he had passed. Just that, right then. So then I'm like, oh shit. Hawk comes and gets me. We go to Galway's. It was a slow night. We're all sitting there. My phone is right on the ledge. There's like a whole circling of us, and like 5 of us, because it was a really dead night. And I felt like my friend Adam, who was like me, and I didn't know that until then. He was sitting by the door, working the door, and he saw my reaction to like feeling a new presence. I was like, Hawk, there's a new one here. Vaguely feeling, seemingly familiar feeling, new presence though. And I'm like, I bet it's Kai. And he goes, I bet it is too. So then I grabbed my phone, and I had done one of my usual Sherry posts, a picture of me and Kai and all our inside jokes. And my phone was literally in view for everybody to see for like 20 solid minutes, which is weird in and of itself, by the way. And Kyle would always, he would always fuck with me about my Facebook. He would bust my balls. You're on Facebook. And like when we text each other up until he went to the hospice, like he was my brother inside of work and outside of work. I stayed at that job. I was at Heritage for 4 years almost, 4. And the last 6 months was horrible. And I stayed as long as I could because of the diagnosis Kyle got. And I just had this feeling he wasn't gonna make it. And I remember my last encounter with him was a good one. He came to visit. I had a big hug and good conversation, and I remember going into the storage room closet crying because I just had a feeling that was it, because I quit the next day. And it was the last time I'd ever see him alive. At least it was a happy vision in my head, And anyways, long story short, my phone's in sight for me and all my friends to see that I didn't touch it. So I grabbed my phone after feeling this presence, and I check it, and it said that somebody had commented on my post and that I had responded to it 5 minutes ago. And I'm like, in the response to, oh my God, rest in peace, he was a regular customer who knew Kyle. Like, I'm gonna miss you, brother, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sorry for your loss, Sherry. And my response back to that was, hi. Hi. That's how Kyle would just text me, hi. And I'm like, guys, did anybody touch my phone in the last 5 minutes? Did I? And they're like, no, it's been right there. I go, so it's not physically possible for me to respond, hi, correct? Everybody saw it. Everyone ghost white, and they're like, I'm like, that asshole just Facebooked me to tell me he's okay? Type shit like that. Fast forward to Froggy. I work at Brower House. I have this epic barback Jack. He's from Bosnia. He's an OG. He was in the Civil War. He's seen a lot of shit. He was in his 40s. And he knew who I was by just paying attention, because he saw everything I saw, and he would hear me talk, and he would come to me for guidance, because he was like Islamic Bosnian. So like it conflicted with his beliefs of what his religion was, and I was helping him through that. And he saw Froggy right behind me like a week before I was gifted more information from him, and he went ghost white. Like he could see him I felt him, and then he had the same reaction I had when Froggy died. I felt Froggy leave. I was working, I was bar backing every day. I wouldn't say no. I was going through a lot of shit. And right around the time it happened, my girlfriend looks at me and she's like, what's wrong? You look off. And I'm like, yeah, I'm exhausted. She's like, no, that's not it. I go, I know. And then I went into this weird, they couldn't find me for like an hour because I hid outside and on the cinder block. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I was throwing up. I was dry heaving. And then I found out the very next morning my best friend was murdered at that time. Felt him leave. So long story short, and I had the same weird connect with Froggy that I did with Nick. It was not romantic. It was very intense and very closeness, that otherworldly, that like you couldn't pinpoint, you know. And like I'd known him through the years, but like something brought us together that was the last few months to bring us back together somehow, and it was an insane connection that I couldn't pinpoint then until, you know, now. But anyways, Jack saw him, and he had the same reaction I did. He had to run out down the same hallway. He couldn't breathe. He almost started throwing up when he saw him. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. He goes, no, it's okay, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, this is part of the deal. I get it. I know it's intense. It's a lot to deal with. So then, like, the next week, I roll up to work to open. He's outside sweeping. He's like, Sherry, all excited to see me. And I'm like, what's up, Jack? He's like, numbers, they mean a lot to you in our world, right? And I'm like, yeah, of course they do. They mean everything. And he's like, all right, so I had this vision of you. I don't know why you, maybe because I was helping him. And he goes, and you were married before, right? And was military? I'm like, yeah, in this life, yes. And he goes, all right, so what do the numbers 17 and 82 mean to you? And I go, what? And I show him my Froggy tattoo. 17, year he died. 82, year he was born. 17, 82. I go, you mean this number? My Froggy tattoo? He goes, yeah, I had this pure, vivid vision of you. It was a past life. You lived in like Virginia in 1782, and your husband was killed in war. Blah, blah, blah. Shot in the chest. I go, oh God, okay. So Froggy Buzz, that there's that connected that again. So fast forward to how let me go about my day normally now, you know. But like it was beautiful to find that out and hear that and know that, but a lot. And then at the end of when I went to go for my reading last year for my birthday, Hawk had reached out for me the first time in 2 fucking years. I had heard about because he's wiped up, and you know, I'm like, if I'm going through some shit, he's going through some shit. And I was going to our mutual friends that worked with him. I go, tell Hawk, fucking caw. Because if I'm going through some crazy shit, that kid is too. And I was just talking about him a lot. And I was, then Linda, the intuitive reader, goes, well, that's because I'm not surprised to hear that. You have a lot of Native in your past. I'm like, I'm not Native. She goes, no, like in a past life, you were married to the Cherokee's chief. And you had epic magical abilities. You could birth, breach children, babies, and like I had these magical beads that like sparkled, and like I was like epic. And all of the husbands were away at war. I was the strength for all the women in the village, even though my husband had died in war. And I go, oh, I'm sorry. Did you say Cherokee? Chief Cherokee? Because I knew that Tim Hawk's dude was Kahakaha, the chief of fucking. Because let me tell you, once we embraced that, the whole fucking tribe came along with it too. The mom, the dad, the brother, the whole tribe. Oh yeah, intense shit. Before this was like the years leading up to this, and I knew how when me and Hawk would walk to the cemetery, it would take over him slowly, and he would be possessed by this other entity. It was different, everything, different demeanor, voice, everything. You know, I was always like, what the fuck? Oh, it's his dude, Kaha. And I knew that he died taking out like 13 white men, and his kill shot, I think, was in his leg. So like Hawk would like start hobbling his leg, and long story short, I look at the woman, Linda, I go, you mean Kaha? And she went like ghost white. She's like, how the fuck did you know that? And I'm like, yeah, he was killed 13 white men before or like 30 white men before he got taken out in the knee. And she was just like, I don't know how you know that. I'm like, because he's with my friend who was Hawk. And I'm like, oh wow, well that makes sense. You know, but it took me like a day to like fully situate the full circle. Like, oh my God, everybody I've ever loved and had this insane connect with died in war in each life. Like Froggy got shot in the chest in this life. It just like dawned on me. I'm like, oh my God, he really was. Nick was supposed to be mine of some sort. Absolutely. Everybody I loved and cared for died in war. And that was like a full circle in and of itself. Like re-mourning the loss of a loss, you know? Like I was mourning a loss of my friend. Now, like, what did I just do? Help. might want to go off. Anyways, long story short, I understand now. And this past birthday was magic. Chris gifted me some magical things I didn't even know he could ever do through Nick. And I didn't cry. I cried one time because I allowed myself to. I made myself, not made, but like it was needed. But it was just a little cry, and I'm okay. I know why he's around me. I died, and I shouldn't be here. And I know he's the reason I'm still here. He's the guiding light in my life. He's my everything. And he brought me my wolf, you know, and he put me through a lot of tests, and I've learned a lot about myself through those 15 fucking years. And I finally am in a really good spot with it all. 15 years it took of pure torture on my soul and who I am, and you can see it. I'm okay. I get it. Now my next phase is understanding. Oh, sorry, I was trying to fuck with the break. What this said epic thing I'm supposed to be doing is now. And I'm figuring that out soon. So pretty soon I will be doing readings and doing shit I need to do, enlightening. Through my existence, I enlighten, and everybody, I prove, I stand on my convictions, but my existence proves it. So I'm constantly showing it and proving my craziness to everybody that it's real. So, Nick, the last year, 6 months have been beautiful growth, like insane amounts of growth and understanding and gifting. Higher version Sherry sending me the Gypsy Man 5 years ago. There's so much I can't even put in one video. And I got Yoda'd at the end of this past year with me. And he's like my earthbound angel. He sought me out. It was insane at Fremont, and kind of like gave me the alignment I needed and growth, that like spiritual back crack I needed. And it's beautiful, and I wouldn't trade what I am for a second. But it's been a rough road to get here. Terrifying, scary, beautiful, amazing, beautiful, scary as fuck. You know, thinking I need to be locked up in a loony bin for a while. People saying I need to be locked up in a loony bin, but my existence proves it. I know I'm special. I know. Just everybody get ready. Some good shit coming. Big shit. Big shit popping and little shit stopping. Hey! Alright, I gotta go get my moon unit out. Keep growing and showing. Heal. Feel, deal, heal. You'll do it a lot quicker than I did. I'm a pioneer in this world, bitch. There ain't no guide for anybody to know. You're just the rare ones like myself. We're here for a fucking reason. I'm an alien. I ain't from here. I know where I'm from. I know what the fuck I am. I'm here to help. Moon Unit out.